Junk Food Dinner 376.
I heard that.
Welcome back to Junk Food Dinner. We are sitting down and talking with Joe and Nick of the Found Footage Festival. If you might remember, we had Nick back on the show back in 2013 on episode 145, talking about the Found Footage Festival in general, but they've got some different stuff going on this time. But just for the listeners that might be listening that might not know what the Found Footage Festival is, you guys have been doing this for well over 10 years now. You guys collect rare videos from thrift stores and garage sales, some stuff taped off TV, and then you tour the country kind of doing, showing the videos, doing some commentary on them, things like that, and releasing those shows on DVD as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and the stuff that we show, it's not so much movies, it's more like exercise videos, training videos, safety videos, that kind of stuff. Like stuff that wasn't intended for a mass audience, and then we show it to a mass audience. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And you guys, I love the commentary that you guys provide before and after and during the videos. Give it some context, let people know where you found the videos. And most of the stuff you show has some sort of strange angle to it, where it's, not straightforward workout videos or stuff like that. It's something that's a little bit off, and it always makes for hilarious results. I've seen you guys, I think probably 6 or 7 times in the time throughout the time that you've been touring, usually in Columbus or Cincinnati. I saw you guys most recently when you were in Cincinnati on your most recent tour for the new show, and I thought it was great. But that's kind of where some of this trouble that you guys have been in has started. So, as you guys have been touring, you usually set up some appearances on local news programs. And originally, were you guys setting up these appearances to promote the Found Footage Festival?
Yeah, we would go on, Wake Up Sacramento or, whatever town we were in. We'd go on at 6 a.m. and come on and show a couple clips from our show and try to get people to come out. And I think we hated doing them. They were really way too early, and we just got the feeling that the news anchors weren't really listening to what we were saying.
Yeah.
They didn't do any research. They would get the name of the show wrong, and so we thought we'd kind of test that out, and we came up with something called the 2-word phrase challenge. And that was kind of our first foray into kind of doing something unexpected on these news stations.
Yeah, so what this would be is before we'd go on and do an interview, I would whisper in Nick's ear 2 words that he had to work into the conversation for the interview. And the best example is basketball murderers. He had to say basketball murder. It had to be murderers plural too. Yeah. And I was like, I have no idea how he's going to do it, but the son of a bitch pulled it off. Like, he can nail it every time.
It was close call though. The guy was like, I could tell he was trying to wrap up the interview, but at the end he's like, so who are the kinds of people who make these videos? A little light bulb went off, and I was like, oh, they could be crazy. They could be basketball murderers for all we know. And the guy didn't bat an eye. Just all right. Well, Found Film Festival footage is coming up next. And so. We had fun doing that, and it proved that the news stations weren't really paying attention. And then, so I guess it was like 7 years ago, we had the idea to really put it to the test and come up with a fairly outrageous press release for a fictional character. Just somebody we'd made up with our friend Mark Brooks, made up a character, sent out press releases to news stations, and see if they would bite on this preposterous proposal. And I don't know, you want to talk about who the character we came up with?
So we wrote up a press release for a guy named Kenny Strasser, who was a yo-yo expert who traveled around the country to schools teaching kids about the environment with his yo-yo. And it doesn't really make sense if you really think about it, but they totally bit. I mean, it ticked all the boxes, really. There's a demonstration, there's a message, there's 10 minutes that's going to eat up, because they have 90 minutes to kill every single day, so they're starving for content. So we sent out this press release to maybe 15 different news stations in the Midwest, and we got, I think, a dozen responses back. We had a really high batting average, and they were all like, yeah, we'd love to have the yo-yo expert on the show, and we're like, holy shit, we actually have to do this now. And so Mark volunteered to be the yo-yo expert, and Mark has no idea how to yo-yo at all.
Right.
And so we'd have to come up with different ways for him to, to perform. So like one time he showed up and he brought his yo-yo, but he forgot the string. Or
Yeah.
another time he went on with his yo-yoing hand or his yo-yoing arm in a sling, so he had to do it left-handed. One time we had him yo-yo, and then the yo-yo actually broke off and rolled across the floor. So we had so much fun doing that. We got him on 7 morning news shows that 3 years ago. Was it 3 years ago?
Yeah.
3 years ago, we got Nick. We wrote up a press release for Nick. He was playing a celebrity chef who had just written a book on what to do with your Thanksgiving leftovers. And we sent him out after Thanksgiving, and this again worked. We got him on 5 morning news.
Yeah, the idea behind this one was to go on and make the grossest possible recipes, and something we called turbo gravy, which was, or a Thanksgiving smoothie, which was cranberries, turkey, chicken, corn, mashed potatoes. I just blend it all up, and that's a smoothie. And then we'd see if the anchors would actually try them on air, and they did. They all but one of them did.
Yeah.
And
I liked on that one that you referred to yourself as the G.G. Allen of cooking, which went right over their heads.
I always love when people appreciate that joke, because whenever we play that live, like I think there's maybe like 6% of the audience knows who G.G. Allen is.
Right.
It's always one guy with gauges in his ears laughing really hard at that one.
Yeah.
But in both of these cases, the press releases were, not really believable. They, if you did a simple Google search, you could really ferret out that this was fake. I mean, like, there was no videotape of the yo-yo expert. For me, I said I owned a popular cafe in New York that didn't exist, and just very obvious things. And we thought, wow, they're still booking. Let's make it even more outrageous. So last November, we came up with a new character. This time, Joe and I both went on as a strongman duo. The two of us, which, I mean, I know you can't see us on a podcast, but
right.
I don't know.
I think the best way to describe us, or at least me, is doughy.
Sure.
Toned would not be a good.
Not a strong man by any stretch.
Yeah.
And we said we were fan favorites on America's Got Talent and the Steve Harvey Show and all things that could have been fact checked with a Google search. I'll even say a Bing search would have shown that to not be the case. But and we just had a vague cause that we were going around promoting called "Give Thanks for Strengths," plural.
And we also added an apostrophe S to the strengths.
Yeah,
to look even dumber.
I mean, it bothered me sending that. I'm a stickler for that, but it didn't matter. This one, I think we had the quickest results we've ever gotten. I think within sending them out, within 24 hours, I think had like 7 bookings or potential bookings to go on and do these shows. And
but we only did 3 of them, because like we did the first 2, and then we had like 4 others lined up, and we're like, let's just do one more. It's so stressful to do these things. We don't consider ourselves pranksters.
Yeah.
We're not like YouTube pranksters. This is just our thing, these morning news things. And so to do these, it just feels like you're robbing a bank, and you just want to get out of there as quickly as possible. Right. And so we just did 3. We're just like, let's just do 3 and call it quits.
I don't know that we could have pushed it any further in terms of stupidity on live television. So
yeah,
I think we had made our point. Time to exit.
Yeah, and all these clips are available online, from the yo-yo to the chef Keith to this one.
Yeah.
You guys have them up on your website, right?
Right. Yeah, most of them are. We're slowly releasing them right now, like all of them in their entirety. We cut montages and we uploaded those. And then, so those are up there. But then now we're releasing the full versions, so you can see it in real time. So, those will be coming out slowly throughout the year.
Right, and you guys would show these at your shows too, right? And you'd show the clips.
Yeah, we would work it into our show, so we'd have references from within the show. So like our shows are full of just quotable lines, so we would work in some of those quotable lines into the morning news segments.
Right. Yes.
Yeah, and so our show is kind of a guided tour through our VHS collection. So it wasn't that much of a leap to say, like, oh, as part of this show and this tour, we do these news shows, and here's the latest experiment we did, last year. So, yeah, we would show little snippets and, talk over it and showcase it the same way we do our found videos.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes sense, too. I mean, it works great with the rest of the stuff in your show. And then, so I guess, was it early this year or late last year, you guys actually found out that one of the parent companies of one of the news stations that you had been on was filing a lawsuit against you?
Yeah, last March, Great Television, who they own 90 different local news stations around the country. Yeah, they slapped us with a lawsuit. And so, yeah, we're in the middle of that right now.
Yeah, because I remember you guys had mentioned it when you played in Cincinnati a few months ago, but it sounded like at the time you were fairly confident that it would go away, but it sounds like it's hanging around.
It's persisting. Yeah,
Yeah.
We thought we'd be able to settle, and we tried to settle, and they didn't want to settle, and so they're just pushing it. I think, I don't know. Who knows what they're doing? Trying to teach us a lesson or trying to bankrupt us. I don't know.
Well, what's the lawsuit claiming? That you guys made false representation of yourself or what?
Yeah, well, there's fraud and conspiracy. We think that one's hilarious.
Yeah.
And copyright infringement. That's the other one. So, yeah, it's because we put the video up on our...
Well, not the video. It was snippets of 30 seconds of a 7-minute, appearance we posted along with some highlights from our other appearances. And yeah, so they're claiming, they're ignoring fair use and saying that we've infringed on their copyright and are profiting off of this. And it's all very silly. And I think the judge doesn't want his time wasted with this. We don't want our time wasted with this. But for some reason, like Joe said, they're persisting here.
Yeah, it seems ridiculous because, like you guys said, it's if anything, it's highlighting their incompetence in terms of researching guests and things like that. And, I don't think there's really anything illegal about, I'm sure people make false claims all the time to get on TV news shows.
We've gotten a lot of local news, like even some anchors that have emailed us and said, if I could sue everybody who claimed to be good on television, then I'd be a really rich man right now.
Yeah, exactly.
But, here's the thing. I mean, we told them we were going to give them an entertaining segment, and then we gave them an entertaining segment. We didn't do anything dirty. We didn't get them in trouble with the FCC.
Right.
We hit tennis rackets together really hard.
Yeah. They didn't lose any advertisers. I
Right.
mean, if anything, more people have gone to or know about them now,
Yeah, absolutely.
So, and we did not get rich off this by any means at all.
There's no profit. There's nothing.
Right. Yeah. It's not like, you guys somehow fell into a bunch of money because of this. And so as a result, you guys are, staring down a pretty hefty legal bill. And to kind of help with that, you guys have launched a GoFundMe that you can find at gofundme.com/chopandsteal, where you guys are looking to raise money to help with your legal defense fund, correct?
Yeah. It sucks asking for money, but it's come to the point where it's starting to become a financial drain, and we're actually starting to get concerned about our careers. So we had to ask people for help. So yeah, it's always kind of embarrassing to do that, but
we've never been sued before, and I didn't realize how expensive a lawsuit was. Even one that probably won't go to in front of a jury. It'll be in a judge's chambers somewhere. But even that is going to cost us about $100,000 to defend ourselves just because somebody brought on this frivolous lawsuit.
Yeah,
I think with the whole idea that they have a lot deeper pockets than we do. So I guess they're trying to teach us a lesson, and so what we're trying to do is unite all the people who like our show and want it to continue to help us fight this and be able to continue doing what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think that's a worthy cause for sure. I mean, I think a lot of the people that like your show and come out whenever you guys, tour and buy the DVDs, I think if you're a big fan of the Found Footage Festival, it's definitely something that it's worth throwing a couple bucks towards because, I mean, there's no reason you guys should, potentially have to end like what you guys have been doing for over a decade just because some station manager's got his, panties in a bunch. So,
Well, and I think it would, I mean, potentially also have chilling effects across other, comedians' outlets. Like, this is not just about Chop and Steele, and this is about all Americans who want to do silly comedy on television and not be pursued by, these crazy conglomerate media companies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and you see that a lot now with like litigation. Like John Oliver's being sued by some, I don't who's he by some I don't even know who he's getting sued by, but it's a similar case. He said something about him on TV, and now he's going after him. This big corporate guy is going after him for libel or slander or something like that. But yeah,
it seems so weird to me. It's like, the Daily Show's been around for decades now. Like, Letterman was doing, kind of progressive stuff in this area in the 80s and 90s. It's like, really, in 2017, we're at the point now where we're litigating over harmless jokes on television. It seems crazy to me.
I know. I wonder if I wonder if they're emboldened by Trump in office. He's a big litigator guy. I wonder if I don't know. So.
Well, I think, there's the biggest, richest bully of all got the highest position in the United States. So other rich bullies, whether they're media companies or, that PayPal co-founder who's, came in on the Gawker lawsuit and all that stuff, they don't like being criticized, so they're going to throw their money around. And it seems kind of like a real toxic time for people who are trying to criticize the news or do comedy.
Well, yeah, it just seems so petty. Like, it seems like this guy is more embarrassed than anything that his news station didn't do the necessary research, and instead of looking to improve his research or booking policies, it's taking out on you guys, which seems
exactly
stupid.
Well, here's the other. I mean, the other thing is, like, with the Kenny Strasser yo-yo expert and the Chef Keith and now Chop and Steele, we pranked one of those gray TV stations 3 different times unknowingly,
right?
Because they just own so many. So I think that they were. I don't know.
Well, maybe they own all the bad ones that don't do their research.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Is like if it happened 3 times, at what point is it your fault?
Right.
Have an
the
orientation.
first time.
Yeah, the first time. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, 3 times, it's like you got to start looking inward at that point.
Did you find that like a lot of the TV stations that you were able to book these interviews on were kind of in the same locations? Was it mostly Midwestern stuff, or did you find like East Coast and West Coast stations were a little bit more thorough in that stuff, or was it just kind of random?
Well, we always did it while we were on tour, so we'd always schedule it around tours. So I think all the Midwestern ones that we did, we were back home for Thanksgiving. So we're like, let's just do it when we're back home for Thanksgiving.
We're from Wisconsin. So
yeah, we're from Wisconsin originally. So yeah, that's why we did a lot of those Wisconsin ones and up to North Dakota. And but then no, we did one other one in Allentown, Pennsylvania, and I mean. No, I think you can. I don't think anybody's more savvy than the other one. I don't know. I mean, we did. We did one in Eau Claire. They said yes, they would do it. It was a different Eau Claire station. It was right down the street from WEAU, the one that's suing us. And we show up as Chop and Steele, and we got our tire, and we got our baseball bats and our tennis rackets. And the guy looked at us, and he was like, "This isn't for real." He's like, I was doing Google searches this morning. I can't find you guys anywhere. I'm not going to have you on my station. So some stations actually did do their due diligence and turned us away at the door.
Right.
So,
yeah, this wasn't a hit job on Midwestern news stations by any means.
Sure.
Let's do this experiment, send out a bunch of press releases where we're at, and, we're from the Midwest, so I think a lot of them happen to be there.
Yeah, there were some that would get back on email saying none of the links that you have to your performances are working. They're all dead links. I mean, we did that on purpose, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're like, we can't have you on. We got to see some demonstrations here. So, yeah. Right. I mean, yeah, they're not all bad.
Well, yeah, it's ridiculous nonetheless, and I hope you guys are able to come out of it at least mostly unscathed. But if anyone out there listening wants to contribute, again, it's GoFundMe.com/ChopandSteele. Or you can just find the link to it on the Found Footage Fest website at foundfootagefest.com. And on there, you can also find, you guys are, throughout this whole thing, you guys are still touring, still doing what you guys normally do. I see you guys got a lot of dates coming up still. You guys are going to be in August over at the Edinburgh Festival for
Yeah, the
most
Fringe
of August.
Festival out there for the whole month. Yeah, yeah. We leave on Tuesday. We do the same show every single day for 30 days.
Wow.
So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like Groundhog's Day, I think.
Absolutely. And then you guys come back. You're doing some dates. It looks like all over the place. It looks like you got Chicago and some East Coast dates, some West Coast dates. So
yeah, we're wrapping up our Volume 8 show. So we the first half of the year we got half of our cities. Now we're doing the other half of the cities. So yeah, we'll be down in Texas and all over the place. Yeah, you can check our website foundfootagefest.com/tours or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and
It looks like both Portlands get covered, Maine and Oregon.
Oh yeah, yeah. We do all the Portlands.
Nice.
yeah. And like I said, as somebody who's seen the show at least a half dozen times, I highly recommend it. It's always a great time. Super funny, and the DVDs are great too. If you're not able to make it out to one of the shows, also check out their website to pick up their DVDs, because the DVDs capture the live show experience, and it's really funny. Like, those are some of my favorite DVDs to put on for friends, when we're just hanging out. And I haven't showed it to anybody yet that hasn't found it extremely hilarious.
Yeah, well, you got to be careful who you show it to is the only thing.
Because every show we guarantee full frontal male nudity.
Yeah.
It won't be erotic full frontal male nudity. It'll probably be like a clinical video or a medical video or something.
Right.
But yeah.
It's a party ruiner. So.
Yeah.
There are certain videos that we call party ruiners. So.
Yeah. I remember that one of the first times I saw you guys, I was on a date, and it was the time you showed the video for Something's Happening, where a guy sprays grape juice in his mouth to hack up phlegm. And I thought for sure that was going to ruin the date, but it ended up working out. So.
And you married that woman, and you guys have been happily married.
Yeah, and now we extract all the toxins out of our body.
Yeah, I believe he called it death. It was he called it extracting death from the mouth.
Yeah, so lots of stuff like that, but also like you guys were saying, lots of exercise videos, instructional videos. One of we saw your most recent show. I loved there was a Wisconsin police training video.
Oh yeah,
that might have been my favorite.
Somebody sent us 17 different police training videos, and they're so awesome. They're just action packed. They're the best at reenactments.
You also had that amazing Desert Storm welcome home parade that I had never seen that before.
Yeah, I know that's like a lost video. I think somebody taped that off a TV, and I think it was 1992 or something, and sent it to us. And you can't find this thing anywhere. It's not on YouTube or anything. But it was this. You want to explain it?
Yeah, I guess it was like a welcome home troops parade in Hollywood, and they had, I guess, celebrities, a lot of whom were near death, in the back of cars waving to people. So it'd be like, Cesar Romero, everybody, and
yeah,
he's there in an oxygen tank waving to people, and but the funniest part was it was supposedly this altruistic welcome home troops, but it was just wall to wall advertisements. It was like, welcome home troops from Taco Bell, brought to you by Combat Cooler Thirst Quencher, which is a real thing, a camouflaged energy drink called Combat Cooler. It's just this. I think the worst parade that's ever happened.
Yeah, and the audio, their microphones don't work, and they can't hear anything that the hosts are saying. And they got Bob Eubanks as their host, and Lisa Gibbons, who are just he's a game show host, and now he's welcoming home the troops. And he sounds exactly like Troy McClure, from The Simpsons.
Right.
Yeah. He has total Troy McClure voice. And it does feel like you watch this parade, and it feels like a Simpsons parody.
Yeah,
it feels like a completely different world. I look at that and I'm like, wow, that was a time and a place that we lived in. That seems so distant.
And we didn't bat an eye at it at the time either.
Yeah.
I don't think. I was 12.
No one watched the parade, though. I think that's the
exactly. Yeah.
There was no eyes to bat.
Right. Well, and I think that's one of the things that I'm always constantly impressed with when I see your guys' show. It's in the world of YouTube and the internet, where it feels like, as soon as anybody finds some sort of funny video, even if it's something old that has come out, it seems like it's, everybody knows about it right away. But you guys seem to consistently find stuff that I feel like hasn't been played out on the internet, stuff that most people have never seen before. Do you find it hard to constantly find, because I know you guys mentioned in your most recent show, you guys call a lot of VHS tapes and stuff from thrift stores and things like that, and that's becoming harder and harder to find stuff like that. Have you guys found it's harder to collect some of this stuff that hasn't either A, been totally played out on the internet, or B, just finding stuff in general?
Yeah, it's definitely getting harder. Like, thrift stores aren't accepting VHS tapes anymore. And when they do have them, they're just trying to get rid of them, and they sell them for a dime now. And it's, mostly what they have left now are, Jerry Maguire's and Liar Liar and
Right.
Titanic copies. And so, but luckily, we've been collecting since for 20 years now. And we have a storage locker with 5,000 tapes in it. So I think I think we're set for life. I think we have enough. And now people bring us videos too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, that's the thing about the show, is that everything, it needs to be in our hand. Like, we have to physically be able to watch it. And we take nothing off the internet too. So that's important to us. But yeah, it is getting tougher.
Well, again, if you guys out there listening want to check out the Found Footage Festival, go to foundfootagefest.com, see if any of the dates are coming near you. If not, pick up one of their DVDs. Volume 8 is out now, and all the previous volumes are available as well, I believe. And if you have a few bucks to kick towards the legal defense fund, go to gofundme.com /chop and steal and throw a few bucks and help these guys battle the bullies of the news world.
Yeah, it was called the dumbest First Amendment fight of 2017, and I think that's fairly apt. So be part of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Be part of this really dumb thing.
Well, Joe and Nick, thank you for being on the show. And anything else you guys want to add before we wrap it up?
No, thanks for having us on. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Absolutely. All right, guys, we are going to take a quick break, and we will be back after this.
Thanks for visiting the JFD video store. We hope you enjoyed our burning hot takes on this week's selected movie. Check us out on iTunes or junkfooddinner.com for full episodes. The audio version contains 3 full-length reviews per week, topical news segments, and listener feedback. Great for long commutes, exercise, or surviving the impending apocalypse. Thanks to Chuck Linnington for the on-screen artwork. Email jfdpodcast@gmail.com or check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, or whatever else is going on. We're probably there and wanna hear from you. Until next time, keep washing them dishes.